Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about the USFL receptions leader Lance Lenoir officially being signed to the Philadelphia Eagles. Lance Lenoir was pretty much the biggest star on the Michigan Panthers overall, as he led the entire league in receptions, catching passes from multiple different quarterbacks, and he is now headed to the city of brotherly love with the Eagles. As for overall his career and stuff like that, he was actually on both practice squad and roster for the Cowboys for a while after 2017, then a couple practice squads, and now he was with the Panthers and then back to, the Eagles. As for his overall impact in games, he actually had one tackle, as he pretty much was just special team kind of guy. But in terms of the USFL, his 52 receptions led the league, and it was pretty much by a pretty good margin. He was second in overall yards, and I believe he was the biggest snub to not make the All-USFL team, as even though I know that he got a lot from just receptions, the fact that he didn't make it is almost a crime to me. He did have 2 touchdowns, so he was overall a very solid player. He was the third pick in the 14th round, which is the second wide receiver round, so he was a highly touted receiver in terms of the USFL sense. As for the Eagles wide receiver group, it went from being pretty weak to pretty good after a couple moves they made, especially trading for A.J. Brown, their main starter now. But aside from that, they have Heisman Trophy winner Devante Smith, then they have Quez Watkins, then second string you have Zack Pascal, Jalen Rigor, the man they famously thought was going to be better than Justin Jefferson, Greg Ward, and then third string they have Deon Cain, John Hightower, Devon Allen. Fourth is Britton Covey, Carrick Wheatfall, and Lance Lenoir, him. As for the fourth and third stringers, the fourth stringers plus third stringer Devon Allen are all undrafted free agent rookies. And then as for the other two, John Hightower has been with the Eagles as a fifth-round pick back in 2020. He's appeared in a lot of games his first year, only one last year. His rookie year, he did have 167 receiving yards. He didn't do anything last year, so kind of sketchy for him. So Lance could definitely overtake him. And then Deon Cain was a pick back in 2018, 6th round, but he didn't even play in 2018, and he didn't play a single game last year either. He started a few games, but just like John Hightower, his rookie year was his best year. So he had 124 yards despite playing on 2 different teams. But last year with the Steelers, he appeared in games and didn't do anything receiving-wise. So Lance could easily take over all those guys. Then in terms of backups, Greg Ward was an undrafted free agent heading into his 4th year now. He's overall been, okay. Last year was his worst year, but the year before he was someone who you might have heard of. He had 400 yards with the Eagles, but last year he only had 95, so he didn't start as many games as well either. That was due to, new guys coming in, like Devante Smith. Jalen Rigor, the first-round pick back in 2020, picked, I believe, exactly 1 pick ahead of Justin Jefferson. It kind of felt like the Eagles are trying to force-feed him into being legit, but I think at this point they're kind of realizing that this might be a legit bust candidate. He hasn't been insanely bad, but the fact is he hasn't had over 400 yards in a season yet, despite being a legit starter. He started 11 games his rookie year and had 396, and actually played and started in more games last year, yet had less yards than he did his rookie year. So, it's not looking too good for him, not going to lie. Zack Pascal is heading into his 5th season. He was with the Colts pretty much his whole career up until this year, and he's actually been a solid, third option receiver, going from 268 yards to 600 in back-to-back years to then 384, which was a downturn, but overall, the fact that he's able to have 2 600-yard seasons shows that he definitely has potential to be a solid option. As for the starters, though, the weakest starter is Quez Watkins, but even then, I say weakest, yet he had over 600 yards last year, so take with that what you will. He was a 6th-round pick by Philadelphia in 2020, and he definitely improved a lot from his, rookie year where he had a different number, only played in 6 games, didn't start any, to then becoming a starter and actually, being solid, including his 91-yard reception that he had. As for Devante Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner in 2021, he was a 10th overall pick, and he ended up having 916 yards. I don't feel like many people talked about how he actually had a pretty good season for a rookie. It's just that, when a guy like Jamar Chase exists, it's kind of hard to, put them in the same breath kind of way. But he was overall very solid last year, so he's definitely a very solid receiver to have on the team. And then A.J. Brown, they just traded for him. A.J. Brown was a Pro Bowler back in 2020 and was 3rd in Offensive Rookie of the Year his rookie year in 2019. He was a 2nd-round pick. He's had 1,000 yards in both his first and second season. Had he played a full season, he would have had one last year. but he didn't, so he only had 869 yards. And overall, he's going to another team where there's another, second option type guy. It's his whole time with Tennessee was, on opposite of Corey Davis, and now he's going to be opposite of Devante Smith. So as for Lance, I think Lance could get pretty high on this group. I think he could become a second stringer or at least a third stringer by getting ahead of all these undrafted free agents and some of those backups. And I feel that if the first few games Rigor shows that he's, not really improving and he's just continuously not playing well and getting worse, he might get benched. So, or by benched, you just be put under. But we'll have to see. This has been Zomfox. If you enjoy this content, want to be notified as soon as I upload any video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.